Charles Barkley said that LeBron James stacked teams, which he does. We all know this. Now, at this particular stage in his career, I agree with it. If I'm 41, about to be 42, I want to play with the best players. I want to have an opportunity to win. So I have no problem with the Philly move. But I also have no problem with what Charles Barkley said.
Basketball fans keep calling LeBron James the undisputed GOAT, but Kwame Brown just threw a huge challenge at that conversation. While sports shows rushed to defend another roster-building move, the former #1 overall pick argued that one major part of the debate keeps getting ignored. Whether you agree or not, the numbers behind LeBron's biggest teams have become a huge talking point, and they could completely change how some fans look at the GOAT discussion. So what do you think? Does LeBron's history of joining or helping build star-loaded teams hurt his case against Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, or does it simply prove he understands the modern NBA better than anyone else? Drop your opinion in the comments because this debate is far from over.
They always talk about, respecting the athletes, protecting the players, and Black Lives, and all this other stuff that they say on the news. But every time it comes to any other player other than LeBron James, then it's bash everybody. You can call Russell Westbrook. You can destroy everyone else's career. But LeBron has to look a certain way.
Sports media has turned this whole topic into complete chaos lately. Kwame Brown recently spoke out about what he believes is unfair treatment toward basketball legends like Charles Barkley, and his comments quickly got people talking. Whether fans agree with him or not, he made it clear that he believes certain opinions get attacked far more than others. Charles Barkley made a point that many people have discussed for years. His argument was simple. LeBron has played on several teams loaded with star talent. He joined a stacked Miami squad in 2010. He returned to Cleveland in 2014 and became part of another championship-level core. He later teamed up with Anthony Davis in Los Angeles in 2019. And now, at 41 years old, he is playing alongside Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and Jaylen Brown in Philadelphia.
One knock on LeBron for older guys like myself has always been, yo man, you always stacking your team. He stacked it in Miami. He stacked it in Cleveland. He stacked it in LA. Now he's stacking it in Philly. So that to me, I'm gonna still have the same criticism I've always had. He's always stacked his team.
Supporters see those moves as smart basketball decisions, while critics see them differently. Either way, it is part of LeBron's career history, not something that was made up overnight. But the moment someone brings up that history, many fans believe television debates instantly become defensive. Some commentators quickly shift the conversation away from roster construction and toward player freedom, making the discussion even more heated. That is exactly what Kwame Brown reacted to after watching comments from Jay Williams and Monica McNutt on ESPN.
All right, Monica McNutt, Brian Windhorst, and Jay Will, I'll start with you. Is that fair?
And I love Uncle Chuck. The biggest flaw in this argument for me is that, people treat player agency as if it's less legitimate than front office agency. So when, Red Auerbach, finds a way to stack a team, he's exceptional. He's a genius. When Brad Stevens does it, he's a visionary. When Jerry West does it, he's such an incredible leader. But somehow when a player kind of takes in his own agency to do that for himself, then it becomes a character flaw.
Jay Williams argued that player empowerment has changed the NBA and even compared LeBron's influence to legendary basketball executives. He mentioned Red Auerbach building the Celtics dynasty, Brad Stevens making major trades, and Jerry West helping assemble championship teams like the Showtime Lakers. Kwame Brown pushed back hard on that comparison. His point was straightforward. Red Auerbach was a general manager. Brad Stevens is a front office executive. Jerry West became famous for building championship rosters behind the scenes. None of those men were also trying to strengthen their own championship resumes while competing on the floor as players. According to Kwame, comparing executives to active players blurs two completely different jobs. Front offices are supposed to build teams. Players are judged by how they perform against the competition. Mixing those roles together, he argued, makes the GOAT debate even harder to judge fairly.
He was being interviewed. He made a statement. He didn't argue with anybody. He said, for old guys like me, which I agree with that statement, that LeBron James stacked his teams. He was in his prime stacking teams. He was in his prime when he went to Miami. I have no issue with what he's doing now. When he went to Miami, he stacked that team. When he went back to Cleveland, he stacked that team. Before he left Cleveland, I thought he had a stacked team. He just couldn't get over the hump.
When basketball fans compare Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and LeBron James, they are usually looking beyond championships alone. They talk about competitive mindset, leadership, individual greatness, and how each superstar handled difficult situations during their careers. Many fans point out that Jordan and Kobe built reputations around trying to beat the league's biggest stars instead of joining them. Supporters of that view argue that they wanted to knock down every obstacle standing in front of them, rather than create overwhelming super teams. Michael Jordan faced years of frustration against the Detroit Pistons. Between 1988 and 1990, Isaiah Thomas and the Bad Boys eliminated Chicago 3 straight times in the playoffs. Jordan did not leave Chicago or try to join another superstar. Instead, he spent countless hours improving his body, added roughly 15 pounds of muscle, and trusted the Bulls organization to continue building around him. Kobe Bryant faced his own challenges after the Lakers dynasty broke apart. During the 2005 to 2006 season, he averaged an incredible 35.4 points per game, while carrying a roster that struggled to compete deep into the playoffs. He wanted stronger teammates, but he never left to form a superstar trio with players like Dwyane Wade or Paul Pierce. That difference remains a major talking point whenever fans compare NBA legends. Supporters of LeBron often describe his approach as a smart use of player empowerment in today's NBA. Critics see it differently. They argue that there is another pattern that rarely gets enough attention, especially when conversations shift toward his teammates. One of the biggest complaints involves how some players are talked about before and after joining LeBron. When things are going well, those teammates are praised as elite stars. But when a season falls apart, many suddenly get labeled as overrated or blamed for the team's problems. That changing narrative has become one of the biggest arguments surrounding LeBron's career. Brian Windhorst's comments about Kevin Love became one example people continue to debate. Windhorst pointed out that Love had never reached the playoffs before arriving in Cleveland. Critics responded by saying that fact ignored how dominant Love had already become as an individual player. During the 2013-14 season with the Minnesota Timberwolves, Kevin Love averaged 26.1 points, 12.5 rebounds, and 4.4 assists per game. He earned all NBA second-team honors and was widely viewed as one of the league's best power forwards. Because Minnesota struggled in the loaded Western Conference, some fans believe his individual success often gets overlooked when people look back at that era. Critics argue the same thing happened with Russell Westbrook. After joining the Lakers in 2021, he faced non-stop criticism from television shows, social media, and fans. His shooting struggles became headline news almost every night, even though his resume already included an MVP award and historic triple-double seasons averaging 31.6 points during his MVP campaign. Many believe the criticism became so intense that it overshadowed everything he had accomplished earlier in his career. That broader discussion continues today. Some fans believe certain teammates receive far more blame than they deserve whenever LeBron's teams struggle, while others argue criticism simply comes with playing on high-profile championship contenders. Either way, it remains one of the hottest debates in basketball media. Now look at the numbers behind the famous Miami super team, because they tell an interesting story. Before LeBron arrived in 2010, Dwyane Wade had just averaged 26.6 points, 6.5 assists, and 4.8 rebounds while finishing 5th in MVP voting. He was already an NBA champion and a Finals MVP. Chris Bosh was putting up 24.0 points and 10.8 rebounds per game in Toronto, and was widely considered one of the league's elite big men. At the time, seeing a reigning MVP join 2 established superstars who were still in their athletic prime created one of the biggest stories the NBA had ever seen. Supporters viewed it as a brilliant move to chase championships, while critics believed it changed the balance of competition across the league. Years later, fans are still arguing about what that decision means for LeBron's place in basketball history. After Miami's run ended with a finals loss to the San Antonio Spurs in 2014, LeBron returned to Cleveland and another championship chapter began, adding even more fuel to one of the biggest debates the sport has ever seen. Why did LeBron return to Cleveland? Many critics point to the situation waiting for him. The Cavaliers already had Kyrie Irving, the #1 overall pick who had become a 2-time All-Star while averaging 20.8 points and 6.1 assists per game. Cleveland also had enough valuable assets to complete a trade for Kevin Love, giving the team another proven star. To critics, it looked like another opportunity built around championship-level talent. When that chapter came to an end, the next stop was Los Angeles. In 2019, the Lakers moved nearly all of their young core to bring in Anthony Davis, an all-NBA first-team player who had been averaging 25.9 points, 12.0 rebounds, and 2.4 blocks per game. That move instantly created another roster packed with star power and raised even more questions about how LeBron's career would be judged in the future. Now, heading into the 2026-27 season at 41 years old, LeBron is once again surrounded by elite talent in Philadelphia. He joins Joel Embiid, a former league MVP who averaged 34.7 points per game when healthy. Alongside him is Tyrese Maxey, fresh off a career-best 25.9-point season after winning the NBA's Most Improved Player award. Add Jaylen Brown, the reigning Finals MVP who averaged 23.0 points while helping lead a championship team, and it is easy to see why people are paying close attention to this roster. Kwame Brown made it clear that his main criticism is not about LeBron trying to win at this stage of his career. Most fans understand why a 41-year-old superstar would want to compete alongside great players while chasing another championship. His argument focuses on something different. He believes the media often presents this approach as if it is something new, even though many fans feel it has been a consistent part of LeBron's career for well over a decade. Charles Barkley approached the conversation from the perspective of a different basketball era. Hall of Famers like Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Reggie Miller, and John Stockton came into the league with a very different mindset. They were drafted by one franchise, battled through fierce rivalries year after year, and tried to build championship teams without changing organizations whenever things became difficult. Did every one of those legends finish their careers with a championship ring? Of course not. Charles Barkley never won one. Patrick Ewing never won one. Reggie Miller and John Stockton also retired without NBA titles. Even so, few people question how fiercely they competed or how committed they were to their teams throughout their careers. That is where many fans believe the conversation has changed. Some argue that staying loyal to one franchise is now viewed as outdated, while joining star-filled teams is often praised as smart business. Others see it as simply the reality of today's NBA, where player movement has become part of the league's culture. That difference in perspective keeps fueling debates across basketball every single season. Kwame Brown also argued that this shift has affected the game itself. In his view, constant superstar movement makes it harder for many casual fans to stay emotionally connected to one franchise. When major stars switch teams every few years, some believe long-term rivalries and team identities become harder to build, changing how fans experience the league. Look at how sports television handles these discussions. Day after day, shows like First Take, Get Up, and Undisputed spend huge portions of their airtime revisiting the same Michael Jordan versus LeBron James debate. The arguments often sound familiar because the topic continues generating strong reactions from basketball fans everywhere. Critics say that too much attention goes toward creating headline-grabbing debates instead of breaking down defensive strategies, coaching adjustments, player development, or the next generation of NBA stars. While the GOAT conversation dominates the spotlight, exciting young talents like Anthony Edwards, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Luka Doncic, and Victor Wembanyama sometimes receive far less discussion than many fans believe they deserve. Instead, the conversation circles back once again to comparing LeBron's 2016 championship with Jordan's 1998 title, keeping one of basketball's biggest debates alive year after year. As Roger Mayweather famously used to say in the boxing world, most of these people don't know a thing about boxing. That same quote is often used by fans when talking about basketball media too. Many people believe some TV personalities spend more time pushing dramatic storylines than breaking down what actually happens on the court. When Charles Barkley said LeBron James has consistently played on star-loaded teams, many fans saw it as a basketball opinion based on his career decisions, not a personal attack. He was discussing LeBron's approach to building championship-level rosters, not questioning him as a person. Whether people agree or disagree, that conversation has become one of the biggest topics in the GOAT debate. Throughout his career, LeBron has played alongside several elite stars in Miami, Cleveland, Los Angeles, and now Philadelphia. Supporters argue that he simply used the options available in the modern NBA to put himself in the best position to win. Critics see that strategy differently and believe it should be considered whenever fans compare his legacy with legends from earlier generations. That is where names like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant always enter the conversation. Their supporters often point to the way they handled adversity, choosing to battle through difficult seasons while continuing to compete against the league's biggest rivals. Kobe famously dislocated a finger during a game, had it reset, and kept playing. He also made free throws after suffering a torn Achilles because he refused to leave the floor. Jordan turned every challenge and every bit of criticism into motivation, using it to push himself even harder against his competition. LeBron built his legacy in another way. His career has been defined by incredible consistency, historic numbers, long-term excellence, and making decisions that many believe gave his teams the best chance to compete for championships. That approach helped produce 4 NBA titles, countless records, and one of the greatest careers basketball has ever seen. At the same time, critics like Kwame Brown argue that those choices naturally become part of any fair GOAT discussion, especially when comparing players from different eras. Whether you agree with Kwame Brown, Charles Barkley, or think LeBron remains the greatest player ever, one thing is certain: this debate is not ending anytime soon, and basketball fans will probably keep arguing about it for years to come. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another basketball story. Don't forget to share this video with other NBA fans and drop your opinion in the comments because we want to hear where you stand in the GOAT debate. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.